Your emotions are like a horse. Okay, that sounded funnier than I thought. But let me actually make a point here, because you know that feeling? Maybe you're speaking to a sibling, a friend, somebody you know, and suddenly they just say something that just immediately gets under your skin. Maybe they said something insulting, something downright disrespectful. Maybe they even disagreed with you on something that's completely obvious, right? And before you even know it, instead of remaining composure and acting best, taking the right action, taking the best move on the chessboard, instead you start to see all of this negativity, all of this irrationality that you've been holding inside of you, all of this negative emotion, it starts to pour out of you. It's as if you had a dam that was holding away all of this water, all of this flow of negative energy. And suddenly the dam just breaks and all of this water just starts flooding whatever in its way. And that's how arguments start, my friend. It all starts with just one negative response that completely starts like the snowball effect. You know what I mean, right? But isn't it a bit interesting? It's interesting how we love to think that we're in control of our fate, right? We just fucking love to plan out consciously every single possible move that could happen, you know? Like trying to play it as best as possible. Also, we don't even realize just how much our actions are actually driven by our emotions. You aren't even aware of it, but you know how easy it is to get addicted to stuff like fucking addictions, drugs, alcohol, the TikTok, which 80% of the people have already left for the sake of which you already know how easy it is to get driven by our emotions. And most of the actions we take, I'm not saying all of our actions, but it's sad to say most of our actions are driven by our emotions, whether if you like it or not. We like to think that we're we like to think that we're rational, but you're not fucking rational. Because if I were to ask you for the 10 things you've done over the past like 20 minutes, and I ask you why you did each, at least one of them was emotional driven. And the most common drive we have is the drive for pleasure. It's not for the negative emotions. Most of the time, we're chasing the positive things, the gratifications, the pleasures. You get where I'm going with this, right? But you're probably wondering, Shredder, what the fuck does this have to do with a horse? I had to pull out the mask, but this concept that I wanted to teach you today, this is something that has been used since the ancient Greece. I'm being dead ass serious here. I learned this from a book which you might be familiar with or not. This is a book that's very good with stuff like psychology and understanding people's perspective. Let's get straight to it. Imagine you have a horse, like the dumb animal we just talked about, right? What are horses known for? Well, they're strong. They're fast as fuck. They're like twice as big as the average human, right? They can get you wherever you want within minutes. They're twice, if not fucking 20 times as fast as a human, right? If you could learn how to control that horse, you would have a massive boost to your life. But what happens most of the time is, now I want you to imagine a human. This human doesn't know shit about riding a horse. The average person out here probably has no idea how to ride a horse, right? So when he gets on top of the horse, he doesn't really know what to do. It starts to, horse, go this way. And the horse can go wherever the hell it wants, but the place the human wants it to go. It doesn't care. It's going to go wherever it wants. It's just going to start running all over the place if the rider has no control over it. And that's what happens most of the time. Most people got no idea how to control the horse, right? But when you actually get a rider that's experienced, who knows his shit, who knows how to ride horse and is experienced, he's rational. Essentially, when you get a thinker who doesn't act upon his emotions and irrationally analyzes them, he doesn't look at them and immediately acts upon them. No, he objectively looks at the situation and he thinks whether if they're actually leading to the right action or not. That's the person who's gonna actually control the horse and get it wherever it wants to go. You need to understand one thing. A lot of these like level 1 self-improvement channels, they all love to make the same copy and paste video Hamza made one day, which is that, emotional men are weak. Yeah, we're weak. You shouldn't act upon your emotions. That's true. But keep in mind, there is a massive difference in between being emotional and acting upon your emotion rather than objectively looking at your emotion, analyzing them, and using them to make the best possible decision. One controls the emotion, the other one gets controlled by the emotion. Don't mistake the two, because a lot of people just love to copy and paste the same video Hamza made one day. And I actually want you to gain value here. I actually want you to learn something that will actually help you later down the line, instead of just yapping about whatever. Because let me give you an example, actually, because emotions are a fuel. They are a source of energy like no other. And if you try to disagree with me on this here, I will have a war with you in the comments, okay? Because your emotions are like a quick fuel. They can get you whatever the hell you want in minutes if you know how to use them correctly. Let me give you an example. When are we the most driven to do our work? When are we going to have the best possible output when we are working? When are we the most likely to bring in the best results in our work? Well, it's when we're motivated. It's when we actually want to do the work. It is when we look at this giant task, this giant list of things we have to do, and all we can feel is this giant smile on our face because we actually want to do it. That's when we'll have the best output. Not when you sit there and you use your David Goggins discipline. I don't want to do this task. It's making me sick, but I'm gonna use my discipline. Yes, I'm gonna use my willpower, my David Goggins Sigma mindset, and I'm gonna drill through the work. And at the end of the day, the quality of the work you're gonna put out when you're motivated, it's still going to be better than the guy who uses his David Goggins discipline. Now, this isn't me hating on Goggins or anything. You get the point. But your emotions they're strong as shit. Don't look down on your emotions. They are a massive source of energy. And if you use it correctly, they are powerful, my guy. But there's one more example I actually want to give you to the horse analogy we just talked about, right? You know how there's also one way around to all of this. There's one way of the horse concept, which I haven't talked about. Imagine you have a strong, ambitious, experienced rider who's a thinker, who knows where he wants to get, and he knows how to ride horses. But now imagine that the horse is weak. It has like barely any energy. What happens when the rider tries to get on top? The horse starts moving, falls down. It's not going to get you anywhere. There are lots of people who have the ambition, who have the goals. They want to achieve them. But every time they sit down in front of their work, they get stuck. They get stuck. This is the exact David Goggins discipline guy we just talked about, right? Discipline is very important and it has its place. But you cannot convince me that discipline as a whole is better and that you don't need motivation. If somebody tells you that you don't need motivation in your life, you have the total right to grab the fucking crock and just... You get where let me keep it straight. You get where I'm going with this, right? Your emotions are powerful. And I don't want to repeat myself over and over and over because I think you're starting to get the point. The horse concept has been used since the ancient Greece. The Spartans used it. The Romans used it. The ancient Greeks used it. All of these people. This is smart as hell. And if you want to know more about it, that's where I'm taking you. This is your next destination. But if you want to learn more about stuff like social skills, psychology, all of this type of stuff that can genuinely help you later down the line, my channel is the perfect place for you. If you want to learn more about that, click all the buttons if you want to. I'm not going to force you to do anything. I mean, I'm not the type of guy to sit there and fucking, like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord server. I'll tell you what's right. Like, last time we did a call in my Discord server, we had people doing fucking backflips on camera. I'm not bullshitting. I genuinely think this is a perfect place for you to develop. But I'm not going to force you to do anything, of course. Do whatever you think is right. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for this video. Don't waste your time. Make the most of it. And just get the fuck out of YouTube and actually do something with your life, okay? Take care.